Andrew, do you know who Chase Young is?
Yeah, of course.
No. My point is, I don't either.
Before I said that Cade Cunningham would never be an All-Star, and I just wanted to double down on that. I just.
We're back
What's going
with
on
another
with Mike's video?
I know.
Another great show coming up. We got a lot of first happening, and I think we're just gonna wing it. All right, here we go. Boom. What's going on, Jam Squad? I'm MK. I'm your host. I'm here with Drew and John Tree. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on, man? How we doing today?
Not too bad. Not too bad. How you doing, Drew?
All good.
Feeling good tonight? We got a lot of firsts going on tonight, dude. Well, let me add this to the stage here. We got breaking news. Stanley Cup champions, first time Stanley Cup champions, the Florida Panthers, tearing it up. Avoided the colossal
that's a great
collapse. Avoided that collapse. That would have been something terrible to. If they would have lost, man, I would have felt really bad for them, for sure. To make it 2 years in a row, if they would have lost, they would have reminded they started to give me some of that like 90s Bills vibe where they would make it to the championship and never win.
Good point.
But they were able to pull it out. I think they won 2-1, John. Am I correct?
2-1. Yep, final game.
Did their defense finally show up?
That's exactly what happened. Is the defense finally stood up? They played real strong the second half of the second period, and then all third period. So Oilers just couldn't get it going. Scored a goal rather quickly. I think it was about 5 minutes into it, and then after that, they just couldn't get anything else going. So defense stood strong. Florida gets to raise the cup for the first time ever. Super happy for that team. Also, Tesla Mace called that out, so not necessarily thrilled that he called the Panthers in 7 when I called the Oilers in 7, but awesome to see the Panthers win this one.
I don't know if we have any proof of that. I think that tape got lost. I think that tape got lost. I'm sorry, Tesla Macy. You don't get to defend yourself tonight. Lil bro, what's up? Welcome back. Good to see you. If anybody else is watching in the whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, I think we're also on Instagram live right now on all 3 platforms. Make sure you say what's up in the comments, and we'll hit you up. If your comments don't show up, it's because they're probably on Instagram. Hop on YouTube or Facebook, and they'll fly through. The other first, I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Tennessee Vols won their school's first men's college World Series. That was pretty cool to see. And I don't like that thing's down at the bottom. Let me take that down. Boom. Okay, that's a little better. We can read it now. I don't think I've ever kept up with men's college baseball, to be honest with you.
The only time I've ever paid attention is when I was going to Cal State Fullerton, and they typically
were in it.
They no, I mean they weren't the year I was there, but they have a really good baseball team. So I kind of look up, see what's going on because they had a really good streak for a while of going deep. But um, yeah, me neither, honestly. But congrats to Tennessee.
Definitely.
Go Bulls.
Kudos. Way to get your first World Series. I like that. The Lakers, man, have hired JJ Redick. I know Joe's going to have a lot to say about this. They've hired JJ Redick as their first head coach, or as their head coach. He joins a long list of coaches now that hopefully will make it past 4 years, 3 years, past 3 years, right? No,
Yeah, he has a 4-year contract, which obviously doesn't mean anything because so did Darvin Ham, I believe. But he has a 4-year contract, and I was trying to catch his interview. He had a press conference. They introduced him. I thought he was pretty funny. He he talked about his coaching experience a little bit, which was, as you saw there. He did coach some 4th grade basketball, which is pretty impressive. If you can coach 4th graders, I'm sure it translates to the NBA. But it was funny because Pelinka had like this line ready to go. He was like, "Hey, we're doing things differently, basically, and you don't have to." It was way smoother, all definitely planned out line. I think where he basically said like, "Hey, we got to talking. He's just the right culture we want in our team organization, and it's more than about coaching." So I mean, hopefully that's right. I've always thought Reddick was a smart player. Hopefully, playing all those years will translate to good coaching. I don't know. And he's been around a lot of good coaches, so it's not like he's 15 years in the league is a long time. So it's not like he's starting from scratch. But who knows? Who knows how this is gonna go?
Yeah, very high
definitely-
risk, high reward type of hire for sure. What are your thoughts, Sean?
No, I definitely agree. I think very smart player. He played for the Clippers, so why wouldn't he be? But I do think that he'll have some good input, for the guards, right? In guard play and the mentality of guard play, especially for the Lakers. That's not me talking anything about the Lakers, but I just think he can bring a sharper, we'll call it maybe like an atmosphere to the fact that guard play is important. You got to have somebody who's really smart and takes care of the ball. And then he always had a really nice shot. So hopefully all of that transgresses to the team, and hopefully he can bring some positivity in that standpoint.
Something I've always had a lot of respect for him is he was a megastar in college. Basically, he was the show in college. Because he stayed 4 years. I think he's the all-time points leader for Duke. I mean, the guy, and he won a national championship, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, the guy was a big star basically coming out of college. And in the NBA, he was a small guard that can shoot and not play great defense. And it was hard for him, I think, to break into rotations. But he figured out how to find the right, situation to change his game, tweak it, and just be, effective for 15 years. So hopefully he can bring some of that where he can bring the best out of players and help them find their niche to be like an effective part of a team. And I don't know. That's my hope that he can somehow bring some of his personal experience to help other people out. So
Got to be able to relate, right? Relate, teach, hopefully encourage, develop players. I think Lakers have a hard time of developing newer talent. We always tend to sign the big name and go from there. Magic Johnson tweeted out after the Celtics won that he hates that the Celtics have officially won more championships than us now. Somebody had tweeted, "Well, you drafted Lonzo Ball over Tatum, so there's that." I did see though that the NBA likes to forget that they pushed the merger between the NBA and the NBL. right? There used to be the NBL league, or the National Basketball League, and the NBA pushed for the merger because they were trying to basically get better competition. Well, the Lakers have a championship back when it was still the NBL that they conveniently don't count in their championships, or the NBA doesn't count in their championships. So according to the NBA, Lakers only have 17. If you include pre-merger, they do have 18.
Yeah,
And if
it's a
we
big
want to
bet.
include this little napkin in-season tournament, I mean, technically we got 19. So
You include the one with the bubble too, and you get all
18 and a half.
all the little knickknacks. Yeah, good
hey
job.
man,
So,
that's
bubble
how
counts,
Brown.
man.
That's why Brown's the GOAT. Like, you win the bubble, you win the shortened season, you win the in season. So that's just how we roll.
Not much I can say.
Drew Holiday. I'm like, if you're any team right now, you're trading for Drew Holiday.
100%.
Got traded
I
to
said
the
same
Bucks,
thing.
right? Like, he got traded to the Bucks in 2021, wins the title in his first season. Got traded to the Celtics in 2023, wins the title in the first season. So, hey guys, should probably go trade for Drew Holiday. Maybe he'll make your team better.
The craziest thing is the Bucks literally just handed the Celtics a championship when they traded him to Portland.
Right?
It's wild. Like, I know they probably couldn't predict that. It's a whole like extra trade that they weren't planning, but they basically paved the way for them to get their guy. So it's
Can you guys tell me who are the two players that have the most rings? I want to say since 2020.
the two players with the most rings since 2020. All right, so 2020 was LeBron and AD.
Okay.
KCP was on that team. He won another one with the Nuggets, so he's got two.
Okay.
Let's think if somebody else has more. My goodness. 2021 was Giannis's year, so that's Drew Holiday. So he's got two.
So he's got two. You are
KCP
absolutely
and
right.
Drew Holiday. Dang,
KCP and
man.
Drew Holiday, dude, are those
Don't
two
question my
players.
knowledge, man. Don't question my NBA knowledge. That's all I gotta say.
I love it, Drew. I just had to quiz you real quick. That's all. Jerry West passed away recently. Outside of being the logo of the NBA and having an amazing career, this dude has built 3 separate dynasties, right? Lakers in the 80s, Lakers in 2000s, and the Warriors in 2015 to 2018.
I think you could credit him too. I know technically he was with the Grizzlies,
right?
but he made that Pau Gasol trade happen, man. So I can credit him for that second run for Kobe too.
That Celtics, speaking of like GMs and and so forth, the Celtics, man. So what? Brad Stevens goes from the coach to, what is he, president, or is he GM now? I can't remember. President of basketball operations? I don't know. I'm
not sure.
Whatever it is. To me, he's the real MVP. He traded Kemba Walker for Al Horford.
Yep.
Didn't trade Jaylen Brown in 2021.
Nope.
Then he traded Langford for Derek White. Traded Smart for KP and 2 first-round picks. Re-signed Jaylen Brown. Traded Brogdon and Williams for Holiday, and then re-signed Porzingis and Holiday. Like, dude, you know how to build a roster, bro. This is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
He's president of basketball operations for the Celtics.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
President of basketball operations.
His stamp's all over that team, though.
Definitely.
And he brought in quality, just good people, man, just over and over again. So
here are the standing records. If you're picking any one of these 8 guys, who you picking? You're going
Jokic.
to the finals. Going Jokic 1-0 in the finals. These are finals records, by the way. LeBron's 4-6, Jokic 1-0, KD's 2-2. I mean, obviously Doncic just lost. He's 0-1. Curry's 4-2. Jimmy, man. Jimmy needs a championship. He's 0-2. Kyrie's 1-3. Kevin Love's 1-3. Who
The
you picking
crazy
out of
thing
there?
about Jimmy is nobody faults him for those losses, man. Like
You
everyone,
can't.
like he overperformed. He outperformed expectations getting to the
Correct.
finals both times. I just love watching that guy play, man.
You expect Jokic to put the team on his back just with how big he is and just like all his skill set of what he can do. And it's not that Jimmy doesn't have a great skill set, but he put that team, well, at least the last one for sure, he put that team on his back and he tried so hard. And it was like he left everything on the floor.
Yep.
I don't even know how he got up after that. But man, he's a great player.
Okay, so we're taking a look at the records of just these players, right? Now, let me. You guys remember that NBA Finals? LeBron's with the Heat. Ball. Well, I think it was a Game 6. I think it was Game 6. They're playing the Spurs. Ball gets tipped out. Ray Allen does that back step, 3-pointer, makes that shot.
Yeah.
You guys remember that?
Yeah,
Let's
game
go.
6.
Let's go back to that. So if Ray Allen misses that shot,
Oh yeah,
Duncan would have the same finals record as MJ.
that's crazy.
Wade would only have 2 rings. LeBron would be 3-7 in the finals. McGrady would have had a ring because he was with the Spurs, right?
Oh yeah.
The Heat big 3 would have only been 1-3 in the finals. Kawhi would have had 3 rings,
Crazy.
all because of that one shot. Isn't that nuts?
That's crazy.
So wild. Because I remember thinking in that game, like, oh, this is it. Like, Spurs are sealing it. Like, wild tip backwards. All of a sudden, he hits that 3, and I'm like, oh no. I don't know if they're gonna come back on Game 7, man. This is
That game was because right before that they were down even more. LeBron hit a 3-2 right before that,
right.
and I don't know why, but for some reason Popovich thought it was a good idea to sit Duncan. That's the biggest mistake I've ever seen Popovich make. Because if Duncan's out there, I don't know if Chris Bosh is tipping that ball out to Ray Allen.
Ray Allen.
You got Duncan down there rebounding, but for some reason he sat him. Rest is history, man.
That's a bad break for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely bad break.
Kind of like that Horry 3, Game 4 against the Kings, man.
No, that was a good break though. That was a good break. That went well for us. Speaking of bad breaks, Monty Williams got fired again. He is now making $85 million in just contract buyouts. Bro, Monty, nice. I know you're watching the podcast. Check it out. I don't need $1 million. Okay. 100,000. I'm cool with 100,000, 500,000. I'm cool with that. Come sponsor the pod. Or if anybody else wants to sponsor, hit that subscribe button. That'd be great. That would help us out, honestly. I mean, he's sitting at home. I'm actually shocked that he wasn't interviewed for some of the other head coaching jobs that just got filled.
I wonder if he got a call and he decided he didn't want to do it. Because I know
he's making $85 million sitting at home. I wouldn't want to.
He's got $85 million and he has some personal issues at home going on. He might just say, you know what, take this and take care of my family,
Yeah.
Right.
Do you really want to throw yourself in more issues when to have a third contract buyout,
Well, it seems pretty lucrative for him. So maybe some people would.
That's so wild, man.
Is John Havlicek tremendously underrated? Check out these stats. If you compare them to the GOAT, and I said it, the GOAT. I didn't stutter. Don't add me in the comments about LeBron. I don't want to hear it. he matches up pretty well against Jordan. I'm gonna tell you that
Wow, he
right now.
does. Look at that.
I mean, he does a
Well,
pretty good job with 8 titles.
The stats they're showing, match up against Jordan.
Yeah.
So the biggest difference is points per game. I'm sure Jordan probably outscored him. But Havlicek averaged more rebounds, it looks like. He averaged more assists per game. He was a stud, man.
He was.
Absolutely.
But Andrew, I would just say though, I think the biggest difference is that people can't say his last name well, so he doesn't have a shoe. And Jordan's really easy to say. They give Jordan.
You got that Javis though.
Yeah.
You rocking the Javis.
Yeah,
I would sport some
I'm trying to
hobbies.
figure it out. Is that with a J or an H? That people aren't gonna know. They're gonna get confused.
They'd be Converse, probably.
Hey, why did I think that though? Why did I think? And that's really
Right.
messed up to say, but I
Kiss
look at him
my
and I'm like, I bet
Converse.
he's got Converse. Yeah, he would be a Converse guy. That is
Well,
hilarious.
That's
point.
all everybody wore, man. Everybody wore the Converse All Stars. I can't even believe those guys were playing in those kind of shoes back then, man.
I know.
I know most of the old heads talk about Converse being that basketball shoe, dude. Whenever I hear Converse, all I'm ever thinking is The Last Dragon and the Shogun of Harlem saying "Kiss my Converse." The
All I'm thinking
old
about is
school
rolled
movie.
ankles.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no ankle support in them shoes. Absolutely none.
That's funny.
40 years ago today, this young man was robbed of the All Valley Karate Tournament Championship thanks to an illegal kick to the face. Sorry, Johnny. Can't help you there.
To be fair, he probably should have been. Well, I guess the other kid broke the guy's leg, right? It wasn't him, so.
Yeah, he swept the leg, dude. Cobra Kai, let's go. Let's see. Austin Rivers called out Grant Williams. I had no idea Grant Williams actually went in and celebrated with the Celtics in their locker room, bro. They won their championship. That's wild. That's absolutely wild. How long was he with the Celtics? True.
I think 3 years, maybe. He was drafted by them, right?
I don't know.
I'm gonna assume so.
I mean, I get it. It's your friends, but that's a little weird. Like, you're on the.
I don't think you were tenured enough, man.
You don't win. You didn't win a championship, man. They won after they traded you away. And the other team that was in the finals also traded you away. So, like, either
way, he's gonna celebrate.
If the Mavs won, would he be like in there with Luka? Like, I was here half a season, guys.
Yo, that's what's up, my dog. Way to kick me off the team.
Yeah, he was drafted. He was drafted by the Celtics.
The WNBA has released a report saying the attendance is up 156% from last year. That's more than half of all the WNBA games this year have been sellouts.
That's
About
amazing.
400,000 fans have attended WNBA games this season, filling WNBA arenas to at least 94% capacity. This year's televised games were on ABC, ESPN, etc. They averaged 1.32 million viewers, nearly triple last season's average of 462,000. The WNBA countdown is averaging over 741,000 viewers. That's an increase of 211% from last year. Essentially, with all these stats, man, in simple terms, business is booming. And I'm pretty sure this podcast called it out when we said this tsunami is coming, right? It's still building momentum and still going.
It's actually more impressive than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
I'm pretty hyped. I don't know if any of you guys watched the game with Clark and Reese.
Their
last 1 point victory for Angel Reese,
and it was close. I mean, Fever still they still had a good shot to try to win it, and just a bad.
Both of them had great games too. Caitlin Clark had her 13 assists, 17 points, good shooting percentages. And Reese, I think, had 26 and 14 rebounds or something. She's killing it with the double doubles. So
she's absolutely killing it. She should. Did they announce Rookie of the Year yet? Because she should win it. To be honest with you, Angel
Yeah,
Reese should win it.
it'll probably be her. It's gonna be her or Caitlin Clark for sure. I mean, there's some others too, but Cameron Brink with Sparks, she's actually having. I think she's leading the league in block
Yeah, but
shots.
she's done for the year though, right? Torn ACL.
Yeah, she tore
Yeah.
her ACL, something like that.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's ACL.
Little bro said Clark and Reese is the Bird Magic rival. You are not
Kind
wrong
of
with
true,
that.
man. It's crazy to think about, but
You are not.
Or
I
the
would.
Steph
Yeah,
LeBron.
I don't know if I would go Steph or Bond. To me, it has more of a MJ Detroit Pistons type of vibe,
Yeah.
where like
Because of physicality.
because of the physicality.
You can throw that
Like
in
Bird Magic weren't
You mean
fairly physical.
Are
It
you
was
saying
just all
Clark?
highlights.
Clark's the MJ, and Reese is the Bill
Well,
Laimbeer.
she's so with Clark. With Clark, I mean MJ, as in she's the flashy one, right? Like, and with Reese and in Chicago, they're scrappy. Like they'll come, they'll beat you up. They're setting hard picks, hard fouls. Like that's just their style of play. Nothing bad about it. Like there was nothing bad about the bad boy Pistons. Like they won games.
Right.
It was all bad boy Pistons when they were all on Detroit. But if you look back at them first couple of championships that Jordan got, half of those guys were bad boy Pistons, right? With John Sally, with Rodman. I'm like, it was all bad when they were with the Pistons and all great when we were with the Bulls. So
I've been impressed, man. These WNBA games have been physical.
Yeah, they really have.
I'm like,
yeah, they have.
I think Bad Boy Pistons is probably a good analogy, man. I think that vibe is throughout the league, man. They're throwing their bodies around. It's pretty impressive, like how physical that game is, and it's awesome. And Clark, can't say enough. Just the way she moves, shoots, like there's a reason why all this popularity is coming. It's impressive. So, man.
Definitely impressive. All right, I got a question for you guys. Football season's coming around the corner, and I want to know. And for those of you in the comments, I want you to respond as well. What is your favorite football movie? On the screen, you got Rudy, Remember the Titans, Jerry Maguire, The Blind Side, We Are Marshall, or Friday Night Lights. Even if it's not on this list or on this picture, like what is your favorite football movie? I'll give you guys a minute. Whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and answer, but I'll give you guys a second to think about it.
Football, right?
Straight up football. The program.
All right. Who's going first? I think
you go first. You go first.
Go ahead, Drew.
Not if this is your choice, I'm sorry I have to say this, but I can say this. Not The Blind Side, I'll tell you that right now.
All right.
But
all right.
just there's too much around like hearing what's his name, Michael Orr talk about
Michael
it.
Orr, yeah.
Yeah, like and it's true, man. They did make him look like an idiot in that movie, and the guy's like, "What the heck? Like, that's not what I was like." But so that wasn't cool, and also the whole weird thing about the defensive personality or whatever they're talking about. Like, what's that, man? I don't even know. What are you talking about? That's not some psychological.
Oh, it's a different breed, dog. I'll tell you that right now. You cannot. So there's one thing that we used to talk about is that you cannot teach a dog to bite. If that dog had bite, right, he's on defense. If he don't got bite though, he ain't on defense. I'm telling you that right now. What up, Oscar? What up? Oscar said his favorite football movie is Draft Day. Love it. Little bro said Waterboy.
Waterboy's up there, man. That's probably up there for me, man.
You know that Bobby Boucher. You know
even
about
that other
Bobby
one,
Boucher.
what's the one where he's in prison or whatever? That one's pretty funny.
Oh yeah, Longest Yard, man.
Longest Yard.
That's a good one too.
I think I'd go with Rudy though, man. I love Rudy.
Dang, that was mine too, man. I love. You could. It don't matter. It don't matter what time of the year it is. You could throw Rudy on.
I
You
mean,
could throw Rudy on in January. You could throw Rudy on in the summertime. Rudy's such a darn good movie.
I've shed tears to Rudy, man. So I can't say that about all the other movies. Like that one gets you, man. It's just an underdog story. You can't help but loving that underdog story. Hard work, like it gets you, and anyone who's worked hard in their life knows can relate to that, feeling of failure and overcoming it. And so I think I got to go Rudy, but there's a lot of good ones on here. One that's not on here is The Rookie, isn't that the Eagles?
Yeah.
The Eagles.
That was
no. Invincible.
I know what you're talking about.
Invincible.
Invincible.
Right?
Sorry, not
Yeah.
Rookie. Yeah, Invincible.
That
Yeah,
was
Invincible's not on there.
that was
Radio's
pretty good.
not on there.
Oh yeah, Radio's
Radio.
good.
Oh,
I mean,
Radio
remember
might
the
be my
Titans
pick.
is great too. Don't get me wrong, that's a good one. Jerry Maguire, of course. Show Me the Money. I actually met the guy that movie's based on. What's his name? Lee Steinbrenner.
Yeah.
He used to be the super agent for everybody over there, and I met him when I was in school. He came and gave me. I have a signed copy of his book in my house over here.
Oh, that's cool.
I'll just show you guys sometime. But he was a cool guy, and he really cared about quarterbacks. That was the coolest thing about him. Is like, and the concussion stuff. A lot of this concussion studies and everything is because he was pushing for it, and because he had these people he represented, but were also his friends who died, and so he was really concerned about it. So fascinating story, and because of him, I met Warren Moon. I worked for Warren Moon for a little while, and as an intern at one of his marketing company, and
That's awesome.
That was a connection there where he used to work. Warren Moon used to work for him after he retired from football. So it was pretty cool people. But anyways,
there's so many good football movies outside of just this graphic. The graphic popped up over my feed, and I was like, "This is a good question to shoot to the fellas." Any Given Sunday, that's also a good one. I know a lot of football guys that like the program. Old school football guys that like the program. Or what's the one with the Texan state championships and the losing? Oh, this one's gonna bug me. I'll have to look it up. Anywho, outside of that, we got this is the absolute moment. If you were to ask me, is the NFL rigged? I would tell you yes. And I'll tell you the exact moment when I figured out that the NFL was freaking rigged. And it was this moment right here. Do you understand the moment, what's going on in this picture? This is the exact moment.
Tom Brady
The
getting mugged right
exact
now.
moment, that the NFL decided, oh no, this is the tuck rule. What the heck is a tuck? We've been playing football for decades now, and nobody know what the heck a tuck was until that moment. I can't tell you how many times I was so mad. That was a straight up fumble. Oh no. His arm was going forward and he tried to pull it back and it just came out. That's an incomplete pass. I'm like, oh my gosh. To this day, that day still haunts me. I was watching that game.
It's crazy because you could say that about this moment or Deflategate or Spygate. It's all the Patriots. It's all of them.
Thank you.
Hey guys,
hopefully that stops now.
Brady's the GOAT, guys. Sorry.
Oh, I don't doubt his ability. I mean, the guy made some good throws, and he had some freakish athletes to throw it to. So
if he didn't win with the Buccaneers, though, would you say he was the GOAT, or you would still kind of be like,
You'd still have to say yeah, but it's nice to like. I mean, I think I feel better about that debate, just because I really felt like the Patriots were cheaters. Just me being straight with everybody, I really did. So the fact that he won on a team that I felt was a little bit more straight, I guess, made me feel better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just a little bit, though. Just a little bit. Don't.
If If you ain't
Still.
cheating, guys, you ain't trying. So just kidding.
I guess so.
If you ain't cheating, if you ain't.
There's
That's
a
the
message
Patriots
on the
motto
internet,
right there.
kids.
That is too funny.
I'm just
This
I actually
This
believe
is
the
the
opposite of that,
teams.
but you know, whatever.
I'm just joking.
This is each team's last MVP. Here's the list.
Oh no.
And on there, I don't know if I looked on there to see if there were any
Wow.
guys who repeated. But dude, the last Jets MVP was Joe Namath
Man.
back in 1968, bro.
That is wild.
Absolutely
Well,
wild.
the 49ers are Steve Young, apparently, so
Yeah, it's been a while too.
that's
Steve,
crazy.
Steve McNair. Look at how many quarterbacks are on here. Just
I mean, usually,
yeah,
right?
throwing it out there.
Rich Gannon, man.
Rich Gannon. That's what I focus on too. Rich
That's
Yes,
crazy.
sir.
Your Raiders got Rich Gannon.
The year that they made the Super Bowl and then lost.
Rich Gannon is a good quarterback, right? But that debate we were having about, you know, the Jacksonville's Jaguars last week, talking about freaking, like, just think about all the different position players you could spend money on, man. Just sign a decent quarterback, somebody that doesn't turn the ball over, basically. It's literally the formula the 49ers have with Purdy. He's not this super high. The reason why they can be so good and get all these other great players is because they pay him nothing, you know. But go ahead, John.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with that. But here's what I'll give you a better example, if I may.
Okay, Purdy's maybe not the right one. Purdy plays way above his salary.
Purdy can throw the ball, right? And Purdy
Yeah.
can get out of situations. Purdy's, I would say, above average, and I really will need somebody to help me change that, but they have to have a good argument. But Trent Dilfer, that is your average as you can possibly get quarterback, right? I think this is really messed up. I think he had like the league's possibly. I think he was a top 24 quarterback, and that tells you where he landed. Top 24 in passing yards the year that they won the Super Bowl with the Ravens. But what was the main difference was, you know, they had number one defense, and they didn't turn the ball over.
Yep,
that's exactly what it was. A huge run game too. I think they're top three rushing attack. So.
I just think, like, if you have a quarterback who hasn't lived up to the hype, like Lawrence, who turns the ball over a lot,
I know what you're saying.
Like, why? And I just don't think you have to actually pay that guy. I think you can move on. And I know it's about ticket sales and other things too. There's business decisions of why they do that, but you can invest and use that money to sign other great players, position players, and just get a quarterback and plan to draft a new guy in the future, your future quarterback, and try to develop a new guy. You know, I don't know. It just seems strange to pay somebody that much money to have as many touchdowns as interceptions. It's just crazy to me, but whatever.
I know this was a huge debate last week, but I just want to ask you one question, and if I may, real quick. I don't take too much time. But my one question to you, Drew, is $50 million is too much for Trevor Lawrence. So the question is, what do you think is reasonable to pay him? Because it's really hard to find a backfill for this position. So what would be a reasonable price for you in your head?
I think I first off, I don't think he's accepting anything. So let him shop around, see what he's worth on the open market, match something, match an offer.
But this
maybe
is
that's not a good way of doing it, but
this is for you though. This is for your question, right? You're the GM, right? Because you said it's too expensive of a contract. And just so you know, I agree with you. It stinks because that's where we're going with these contracts, but I agree with you. So what is the right price? So it's hard for me.
I'd have to look at other quarterbacks with comparable stats, but it's probably like $19 million a year is I think what other players who have similar stats are making, if they're even re-signed. And they're getting signed up potentially to be backups, you know what I mean? Like with his stats. So it's hard for me to know off the top of my head, but yeah, it's a fair question. Like Just
If
definitely not a max contract. Something, or I don't know if you can do max contracts if you say that in the NFL, but essentially he's the highest paid quarterback yearly, one of the highest paid in the league now, and he's just not there.
if it was me based off of his stats, and Mike, you could jump in too on this, but if it was me based off of his stats, I would think a reasonable contract for the numbers that he has put out, and it's still going to be higher than you think, Drew, but I would say between 32 and $40 million. I do not think he is a tier 1. I do not think he's a tier 2. But tier 3, tier 4, I think he probably lands somewhere in there. So 32 to 40 million seems reasonable based off of how the different quarterbacks tiers are getting paid. Mike, what do you think?
Um, I would agree with you on where he falls as far as the tiers. The biggest problem we're having in the NFL right now is there aren't very many tier 1
Correct.
or tier 2 guys.
Correct.
So a lot of teams have tier 3 starting quarterbacks. Let me give you this situation. Back in 2006, the Chicago Bears made a Super Bowl run. So they made it to the Super Bowl with a guy that by far will never be in the same breath as Trevor Lawrence or any other. Do you guys remember Rex Grossman?
Yep.
Okay. In that season, in that 2006 season, I think it was week 6, they played Arizona Cardinals. This dude fumbled twice and threw 4 interceptions. All in this same game. Okay. 6 turnovers, bro. Just off of this one guy. Who is your quarterback? This guy's not supposed to turn the ball over. He's not, we're supposed to count on you to drive the ball and do that. They had such a dominant defense. They were losing and had a dominant defense and a guy named Devin Hester. And they ended up winning that game, bro. I want to say it was by 2 points or something. No, it was by 1 point. I think it was 24-23. But before Hester returned the punt for a touchdown, I remember watching this thing unfold, and I'm like, there is no way that the Chicago Bears can make it back with the way their offense is playing. Their offense is playing terrible. 6 turnovers, dude. You just gave six possessions away to the other team. And then out of nowhere, I start seeing Chicago come back. Charles Tillman creates another fumble, right? Urlacher gets another interception. I'm like, dude, they might actually pull this off. Not a single offensive touchdown, and they still won 24-23. It was by far the craziest game I had ever seen. But honestly, if you're not paying, then they're never paid that Grossman a ton of money. They just had a solid defense and said, all right, well, we're going to pick it up.
Urlacher, man. Was that the year before they played this? What was the year they played the Saints? I can't remember what year that was, but that Bears team was ridiculous.
Just so
Their
you know,
defense was wild.
In that game, just as fun stats, he went 14 for 37 for 144 yards and had a passer rating of 10.2.
Bro, I'm not exaggerating. It was by far the wildest game for a quarterback. How are you going to give the quarterback that win? How?
3.9 yards per attempt as a quarterback.
It's just.
But can we see? I mean,
dude.
I'm not saying the best recipe for success is to not have a tier 1 quarterback, but the point is if you don't have one, then why pay a tier 3? I mean, go with a tier 3 that's cheaper, and then go out and build the rest of your squad. Build up your defense. If you have an amazing offensive line, that's the story of Rich Gannon, man. I know Rich Gannon's a good quarterback and everything, but like that offensive line he had with the Raiders when they went to the Super Bowl was ridiculous.
But I think
bro,
as
he also
oh,
had
sorry.
Tim Brown and Jerry Rice that year.
Yeah.
So-
He was throwing he could throw the ball up in the air
I
while turning around and walk
understand
away,
that too.
like Curry.
But if you give a quarterback in the NFL time, you'll be fine. They're not going to turn the ball over. They're not going to force things. They don't have to because they have time. And I granted, yeah, Jerry Rice and all that. But
yeah.
I'm just saying, like.
But Drew, I think you answered the question that for the debate here is I asked you what you thought a fair price was, and before you named a number, you had said, "Well, I don't think he'll sign it." So the fact is you signed, or well, the Jaguars signed a tier 3 quarterback because they signed him that much money because that's what he signed for. I would say that negotiations probably started at 40 million. And they were like, "Nah,
Yeah, you're probably right.
this guy's your future. You don't have who else is going to be better than this guy?" So I think you answered the question there.
Let him walk, man. I would have let him walk. Just
Fair
saying.
enough.
Let him walk. I saw this come across my feed and I just started cracking up laughing. This is the least intelligent fan bases. I don't know what's going on out in the northeast part of the country, but Lions are rated number 1. Minnesota Vikings is number 2. The Jets number 3. The Green Bay Packers number 4. I'm like, somebody hate the upper right
can't
corner?
agree
Like,
with
what's
this.
the deal?
Green Bay Packer fans own the team, man. That's pretty legit.
I'm with you on that. That's the first thing I thought of too. Was like, hey, the fans run that team.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
that's crazy.
I can agree with number 9 though.
Oh gosh, who's number 9? I can't see. Oh
Seahawks.
Yeah,
The Seahawks. The Seahawks. Number 10 was the Patriots though. So I mean,
what is this based on, man?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't even know who posted it.
Gambling.com. So maybe you say what team you're a fan of and you're the worst at betting on sports or something.
Probably.
Or maybe those players bet on the teams and they get caught.
Oh man, it was just the stuff that comes across my feed is wild, and so I like every now and then I'm like, oh hey, yeah, we'll talk about that. Why not? Why not?
That's hilarious.
Anything come out of Niner camp at all, John?
No. So they Niners and Ayuk met today, but it doesn't look like anything came out of it. Looks like he's showing up for camp, so he doesn't get fined. But he has made a huge statement saying that they don't want me, and he's getting other players from other teams involved. So he got Jaden Daniels, and he admitted that he had Jaden Daniels from the Commanders hype up a scenario that just made it seem like
nice. A reunion of teammates, bro.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I don't really know where I stand anymore because it's like, well, we need him, but if we don't, then walk, right? Like if he's not going to sign, and it's a $26 million contract on the table. It's not like because I think what does he want, 30? So we're $4 million off,
something like that. Yeah,
and
you're talking about per year.
Yeah, and he is an upper tier. I don't know where I'd actually rank him yet. I have to sit down and have everybody in front of me. But he is an upper tier receiver, and his last 2 years have been great. But he hasn't been a Justin Jefferson every year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I look at, right? And then that kind of throws me back into Drew's conversation with Trevor Lawrence. Is he hasn't been an upper echelon every year. He's been really good. So hard for me to say that we should pay him all that money, but it's not him, and it's not this year. The team is looking at next year. We are going to lose 20 some odd players, and Trent Williams will sit out if he doesn't get paid another max contract. We got to pay Purdy next year. Kittle's gonna hit his contracts coming up, again. And then we got to do something with Juice. I know there was an extension, but I don't actually know exactly for how long. So he might be coming up too. So definitely a lot to think about. And then the year after, Debo's contract is up again. So lots to think about here.
Very, very much so. I think the hard part with Debo though is like he's so versatile.
Mm-hmm.
You can line him up anywhere. You can line him up in the backfield. Like he's just that guy.
But he can't stay healthy,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And I
That's
think for
that's the hard
me,
part.
yeah, for me, it's great that he's versatile. But if I can only have him for half of the games, you know, every season, that's not enough. I'd rather have, in my opinion, Ayuk's a little bit more formidable. He's a little younger, and when the ball's up in the air, Ayuk's coming down with it more from a percentage standpoint than Debo is. So to me, Ayuk's worth more.
Is that because of matchups though? Like is Debo normally taking the number ones while like number one DBs and leaving Ayuk matched up with number two?
That's a good point. I think the matchups change now more than ever, actually. You know, I think the matchups do change because if your number one cornerback is an outside cornerback and Ayuk's on the outside, number one's probably going to Ayuk. Debo lines up in different positions, so either that number one quarterback is following him,
Yeah,
or Debo actually gets a number two, and sometimes he gets the linebacker because he's positioned in the running back
inside.
position.
Yeah.
So that's a fair question. I think for most teams, it's hard to answer for the Niners because it would literally depend on that game, and I can answer it per team with whatever game that is.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Debo won me a few weeks though in fantasy, so I like Debo.
You're an easy guy, Drew.
Aw.
You make me happy. You make me happy, Drew.
Speaking of, I gotta renew our league. I gotta renew our league. If anybody wants
Yeah,
to
we
jump
do.
into that league, the Jam Pack Podcast League, let us know in the comments or hit me up. I'll get you on board. Just need your email.
Yeah, and we need some viewer support here. We will come up with a prize that would not be passed to any one of us, but it would be passed on to you if you win. So definitely see if you can join up. We'll get something good out there, and then for us internally, we'll get a trophy set up too. So it'll be really cool.
Who won that last year? I don't even remember, but
Me? What you mean? Who? Definitely was me. I don't even know. I gotta go back.
I think
and look.
it was
I'm pretty sure I
Mike.
was like fourth or fifth. I'm pretty
Was
sure it
it?
was Mike.
Was it Tesla Mace? He wins
Yeah,
everything.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it
We
was
gotta-
him.
Guys,
would-
we got to join
Gosh,
up against
dang it.
him, okay? Our viewers on this cat, we got to join up against Tesla Mace. He wins just about everything. We got to get him.
I will pay $20 to anybody who beats him in fantasy this year.
There you go. Yeah, it's his
Hey.
And I'm only
$20.
saying-
I'll match it because it's his $20 because he lost a bet earlier this year. I will match
Yeah.
that.
hey, but March Madness was mine, so it's all good, man.
That is true. That is true.
That's your specialty there, big guy.
Honestly, I got to give Mike a hard time because he's not here to defend himself. We give it to everybody who's absent, so we'll keep that going. If anyone else is still watching, for those that are still watching, boom, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube at Jam Pack Podcast. Click on that notification button to view us live. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Jam Pack Podcast or on Twitter at Jam Pack Pod. Blah, 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 blah. Man, that was a lot of P's. That was a lot. I should have taken a breath before saying all that. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Jam Pack Podcast. We hope you enjoyed our discussion on the latest in the world of sports. If you'd like to us to talk about anything else, let us know. Hit us up, and we'll get it into the agenda. Remember to like, subscribe, and review our podcast and stay updated on all things sports. Join us next time for more analysis and insights. Until then, stay active, stay informed, and keep cheering for your favorite teams. From all of us at Jam Packed, I'm MK here with John and Drew. Be safe out there. Take care of one another. And we'll see you next week. Later, fellas.
Bye, everybody.